Welcome to I Still Stand, where Amy and Eddie highlight the power of educators in shaping lives and building a brighter future. Join us for expert insights, inspiring stories, and thought provoking discussions. Hello, listeners. Welcome again to our new episode, I Still Stand. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm doing well, Adi. It's nice to get in touch with you again.
Great. So, Amy, we were discussing last time that as an educator, we do find that there is a lot of importance for educators. And when we talk especially about early childcare educator, there is something special to that. Having more responsibilities, having more privilege and prestige attached to this. So I would like you to speak about their the privilege, their respect which they deserve in the society because they are taking care of our child. They're pretty young, and so Amy, please go ahead and let our listeners know the importance of early childcare educators.
And Adi, thank you. I really want to thank you for initiating this discussion. Although you and I, we have a vast knowledge in education from childcare to middle school to high school to college education, university education, right? You're the one who really geared me towards speaking about these early childhood educators because this group of educators are not highlighted that much in any of the forums, in any of the platforms.
Hmm.
A lot of them have reached out to me when I said that we are having a podcast and a series of articles just to promote who you are and to get the proper recognition for you, and they were extremely very happy.
Great.
So a lot of people, a lot of parents, a lot of educators get these early childhood educators mistaken as babysitters. And
Hmm.
they're actually not babysitters. They have to go through an intense program to be registered, to be regulated in the system as an early childhood educator, which is equally important as a teacher in the middle school, high school, or at university level, right? They learn
Yes.
a lot about human psychology. They learn a lot
Hmm.
about attachment theories and a lot of human developmental theories. And this is what makes them understand about children's behavior. Why is this child crying? Why is this child gravitating towards certain areas in the classroom, and then how to make secure attachments with a child who's having separation anxiety, right?
Hmm.
And how do you make connections? So this just doesn't come by observing. This comes with a lot of learning, a lot of hands-on experience. And when you're doing this program, you also get to work in multiple places as placement students, so you can get um, field experience, right? So
Okay.
while you're doing field experience, you have to focus on certain aspects of a child, say in a psychological aspect or a behavioral aspect, or maybe special needs, developmental aspects. And how do you flag a child who is having a speech delay? How do you notice a child who's having early symptoms of autism, right? And
Hmm.
how do you identify a child who is having the symptoms of dyslexia, which is like a language deficiency? Like all these things in child care, the moment you identify these as early as possible, right? Early detection can always save a human life.
So Amy, can I ask a question here? Uh,
Yes.
like, as an educator, uh, early childcare educators are being trained, as you mentioned, from the psychological perspective as well, because they are going to be exposed to young children, and
Mm-hmm.
there are different. I would say it's not a problem, but different kind of area of working, like dyslexia is there, or
Mhm.
maybe language barriers are there. So uh, early childcare educators are being trained in this way that they can figure out at the early stage that child is
Yes.
lacking something.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So when we are learning, they are learning psychology and developmental delays. We are learning about autism, how to help the children with autism, and how to identify early signs of autism. Right. So when we
Hmm.
are doing these courses, they educate these early childhood teachers how to
Okay.
identify these red flags and bring them to the child to the parents attention. So what they normally do is, we have noticed this points over this past week, and we would recommend that you take your child to a doctor, to the physician, get your child assessed.
Okay.
And most often they do composting, so you
Okay.
have to also understand, the early childhood educators work with little humans who doesn't really know to talk or tell what they need or what is their problem, right? But when you work in the university level or middle school, high school level, they can even tell when they're hungry, right? They can
Yes.
tell when they're having a headache.
Hmm.
They can express an emotion. But in early childhood, sometimes don't speak when they come to school, right? They don't know how to show emotions, and this is the very first time that they are being away from their parents. So there's a lot of adjustments happening in this little mind. And through those adjustments, it is the early childhood educator who is by them, supporting them, and giving them the love that they need, giving them the education that they need. And they bond very, very well with these children. I have been in these settings, Adi, and I know they bond with these children just as much as the children would bond with the parents, because the end or the whole day they spend with these teachers there, because the
Yes.
parents most of the time drop them off by 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. and pick them up by 6 p.m. So the entire day they spend with these educators, right? And the sacrifice that they do, I have seen to my own eyes when a child come in sick, right? If it is not contagious, right? And if the doctor says it is okay for this child to go to school, but sometimes your body is not the same, right? And the child doesn't feel that, so you need someone constantly, pacifying that child, keeping
Mm.
that child on the lap, or maybe putting that child to sleep, or maybe sometimes they want to drink certain special, things, or eat something special, and they don't say talk that much. You have to understand their gestures, and if they're crying, what do you do? So when these educators actually bond with these children, they know what this child wants, and it comes with a lot of love and care. And because of the knowledge and the theory knowledge education that they get, they are able to help these young children, who is the future society of the human nature.
I mean, this role is very, very important, and you were thanking me. In fact, I'm thankful to you that you are giving me this time, as well as I know there are so many listeners, parents, and those eager youngsters who want to pursue their career in early childcare education. In fact, there are entrepreneurs, those who would like to initiate these kind of centers. But I'm really getting more excited about this when I listen to your um, comments, your this podcast when we are recording and when we are doing some discussion over this. Why? Because I have seen in the society that uh, educators themselves are getting importance, but ECE, like early child care educators, they are not being given that kind of prestige and privilege. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel so because we are handing over our new generation to them and they are taking care of them every single mood swings and they are feeling well or not, but they are taking care about 10 hours a day. They are with these educators. So uh, please can you some stress some importance in this as well? Or if I'm
Yes.
feeling wrong, then please do correct me for that as well.
No, you're absolutely right. So I have been in that situation myself. So I can tell from my own feeling, right? So, as I said in my first podcast, I wanted to work with the young children to learn about brain development. So the only way that I could sit and actually work with them
Mm-hmm.
legally if I got registered as an ECE. So I went through this process and I worked in the system because I wanted to get into brain development,
Mm-hmm.
and learn about human development, and they learn about applied psychology. So when I was there working as an ECE, I did feel that like there's a huge difference in salary for high school teachers and for early childhood educators, or in for kindergarten teachers and for early childhood educators, right? But they're doing exactly the same thing. Okay, they know
Okay.
to make lesson plans. They know to teach these students um, the lessons that they want. Okay, and not only that, they go to the extent of sacrificing themselves in certain ways. You know how to office you can wear heels, but to a daycare center, to a child care center, you don't wear heels, nails, because it could be of danger, right? If you poke somebody's, you know hand or heel, because a lot of children work on the floor on mats. So what if you walk on it by accident, on a hand or something, wearing heels? They hardly wear any makeup. They hardly wear like hanging earrings because it could be a safety hazard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even when you're feeding the children, like if you're giving grapes, we are very, very careful that you chop it into four parts, right? So there will be no choking
Mm-hmm.
hazards. And then there are lots of children come with multiple allergies, so you have to keep an entire list in mind and make sure that the allergies are not triggered on the other hand, right? And on top of it, there are children who come with fever. The doctor says, okay, the child was home for 2 3 days, but now he can go to school, but you have to continue this dose of amoxicillin or the antibiotics, right? So you have to keep that in mind, keep track, monitor, document that you have given and administered this medication to the child in between your busy day. So it is a very, very task concentration oriented job that is not much recognized in the society, and I am not sure why. And I do see recent rallies about talking about this issue, trying to bring this to the attention of the government, because it is a very tough job, just like nursing, just like PSW, where you have to constantly be changing diapers. You have to constantly teach them. You have to constantly keep carrying them if they are not feeling well or crying. And by during that time, you have a ratio. In different ages, there are different ratios for ECEs. Are they like 1 to 5 when they're in the smaller classes, toddler classes, 1 to 8 in like a preschool classes, right? You still, if one child is sick, you still have 7 other children with you. Okay, so for parents, they come and ask, I don't know how you guys are doing, because for me, just my child is too much for me. Like I feel like I constantly have to be around him or her. But these educators know how to keep everybody busy, everybody occupied, everybody working, everybody learning, everybody eating, everybody's diapers being changed, everybody is fed properly, everybody's napped properly. Like, it's a huge responsibility. I would say that has gone unnoticed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Rightly pointed out.
Yes. So this is what I would like to we like to promote, the importance of this profession, right? And
Great.
how important it is for the workforce, because all the workforce, all the young parents are dependent on a daycare center, in a
Yes.
safe place to keep their children and go, because The parents feel very comfortable leaving their children in a safe environment, knowing that they will receive the love, the same love that they would receive at home. And I have worked in childcare centers, Montessori centers in the USA and here and in the school districts as well. And I have always seen the teachers, these educators are giving their best to the children. And I think in return, they need to be recognized and be given a good compensation and be recognized a little bit better. And just like any other teacher.
Yes, they should be recognized as they deserve more. I mean,
Mhm,
we'll continue discussing more about this in the upcoming episodes as well, and because we do realize that there is intensive amount of importance of EC as an educator, and they should be given importance with respect to their privilege as well, with respect
mhm.
to the compensation as well, and there are some other aspects which we'll bring to this podcast. Uh, we would like to conclude here today, and I can see there are so many other things coming up as questions in my mind as well. So I'll bring these questions to you, and we are open for our parents and for others as well, like listeners as well, if they want to come up with some of the questions. So then we can bring those in our podcast as well. Per-
Thank you, Adi. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to speak with you next week as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Amy. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. If you have any comments or if you want to discuss on a specific topic, please do write to us. We hope you subscribe to our social media platform. Talk to you next time.